Good morning, class. Today I'm going to be giving my persuasive speech on global warming. So thank you for tuning in to listen to me today. So today I will be giving, like I said, my persuasive speech on global warming. Over the years, there has been a lot of debate on whether global warming is real or not. So today I'm going to try to persuade you to take some steps to help the planet fight against global warming. First, I'm going to talk about what is global warming and what causes it. Second, I will talk about what global warming is doing to the planet. And finally, I will give you guys a few examples on what to do in the fight against global warming. So we can take a few steps in that way. All right. So first of all, what is global warming? Global warming is defined by NASA as the rapid increase in the Earth's average surface temperature due to greenhouse gases released by the burning of fossil fuels. Carbon dioxide, air pollutants collect in the atmosphere and absorb sunlight and solar radiation that would normally bounce off the Earth and go up into space, but due to that those pollutants, that carbon dioxide stayed in the atmosphere, they stay trapped in there, and therefore they keep bouncing in and out, and they actually stay on Earth instead of being released into space. The burning of fossil fuels to make electricity is the largest source of heat trapping pollution. The second largest source is the transportation sector, which generates 1.7 billion tons of CO2, carbon dioxide emissions, a year. Just like cars, trains, buses, all that type of transportation, that things that we use for transportation on normal basis. That's how much emissions they dish out a year, that all get trapped in our atmosphere. Now, what is it doing to the planet? So hotter air increases ocean evaporation. So in turn, warmer atmosphere can hold more water, therefore causing more intense weather events. So as far as that, the more water it evaporates due to the hotter temperature on Earth. Therefore, it increases the water density in the clouds, therefore causing greater, more dangerous weather events like hurricanes, typhoons, stuff like that. Natural disasters has doubled in the past few decades. 90% are weather related. I don't know, the past few years we've been having a lot of bad storms, like Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Katrina, just to name a few, that have caused a lot of danger to the planet, as far as loss of homes, loss of life, and stuff like that. So those are just few examples of the causes of global warming is having on the planet, as far as the events and the different changes in the weather. Another thing that's caused by global warming, and the increase of the temperature, would be forest fires. California has a lot of forest fires. Just here in the United States, lately, I've been hearing a lot on the news about Arizona, even here in El Paso, Texas, a lot of the temperature being up in the 120s. That causes a lot of forest fires. Therefore, not only do the trees die, but those trees might have been homes to different types of animals, that make up their homes in the trees. Therefore, they're losing their homes as well. Also, another thing that's being caused by global warming recently, it's the death of coral reefs. Coral reefs are dying at an increased rate due to the the increase of water temperature. Water temperature does cause the coral reefs to die, and in turn, all the animals that call the reefs home, they either they have to find somewhere else to live, or they die as well. So that's another cause of global warming. Also, one last thing about what causes global warming, or what's being caused by it, is the sea ice is melting. So a lot of our ice caps, or ice sheets up in the poles, they're melting, therefore causing polar bears to lose their homes, penguins, just different types of animals that live in the Arctic, North, South Pole. They're losing their homes due to hotter temperature, meaning the ice is melting at an increased rate. And so now you ask, what can we do to help? So now I'm gonna give you a few examples of what we can do to help decreasing global warming and helping in that way. Power your homes with renewable energy. I know for a fact here, I've seen a few houses that even have solar panels on the roof to use that as energy. Even Elon Musk, the CEO and founder of Tesla Engineering and SpaceX, he has even launched a new company that creates solar roof shingles, so you can actually have your whole home be a solar panel. As far as that, there's a lot of things, just on a smaller scale, like if you have flood lamps or floodlights in your home, like like censored stuff like that turn on when something moves. Most of them are being sold now with solar energy panels to being powered instead of using like renewable energy like electricity, stuff like that. Make your home well insulated. Just the fact that we use heat and air conditioner, in the winter or the summer, that accounts for half the energy we use here for the whole year. So just being your home being well insulated decreases the use of the AC or the heating system, therefore causing less usage of electricity. Actually eat the food you buy. 40% of the food we buy ends up being in landfills at the end. We end up throwing it out. So 10% of the energy used for the year goes into growing, farming, processing and packaging and shipping the actual food we buy. So if we were to actually eat the food we buy, we would be able to cut down on that. Also, the last thing I would like to add to that would be to maintain your vehicles properly. Properly inflation of the tires can save 1.2 billion of gallons of gas a year. Therefore, those emissions are not being sent up to the atmosphere and increasing that. Conclusion, today I talked about global warming and what it causes on the planet. First, I talked about what global warming is and what causes it. Second, I talked about what global warming is doing to the planet. And finally, I gave you a few examples of what we can do to help in that global effort that's being taken as we speak to fight global warming. So I really hope you can take a few things here from me, and hope I persuade you in taking a few steps in the right direction. Okay, thank you for listening.